Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, I just want to take a moment and apologize for being MIA lately. I haven't put a video out in a couple weeks, and I know I've been trying to get one out to you guys at least once a week. So just be patient with me. I'm transitioning through some things in life right now. So I just ask that you bear with me, hang in there. I do have more recipes and things coming. I did have a request for more recipes using cauliflower rice. So this is the first of hopefully many that I put out. And we will be making today a cauliflower rice pizza crust. Very keto friendly and very yummy. So the ingredients shown right here, I have some mozzarella cheese, some Parmesan, Asiago, Romano blend. That I'm adding myself. But you can use mozzarella, Parmesan, really any kind of cheese I would think that you would want to use. Oregano, some garlic salt, basil, 1 egg, and then of course your rice cauliflower. Hey guys, today we're going to make a cauliflower rice pizza crust. It is very keto friendly and very yummy. I make a few different kinds of pizza crusts. I've done the fathead dough before. I've done the cauliflower rice. I've done just like a straight cheese crust. So, you know, if you guys have any interest in any other kind of crust, I can make those as well. I actually have another video up on my channel for a different kind of crust, kind of like a deep dish crust. So check that out if you're interested. But anyway, I have a bag of the cauliflower rice. It is the steam in the bag kind. You are more than welcome to use a head of cauliflower, but I like to make things simple, especially during the work week. So I'm going to use one of these steam in the bag kinds. I have already put it into the microwave and gotten it nice and soft, and now I am just going to cut this open, and I'm going to put this into a pan and just go ahead and dry this rice out even further, because one of the tricks to making this kind of pizza crust is making sure that your cauliflower rice is really, really dry. You do not want a soggy pizza crust. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and mix this around the pan for a few minutes, and just until it gets heated thoroughly and to where it looks like it doesn't have any moisture left in it. So you want to kind of heat it at a relatively high temperature, because that's going to get it nice and dried out for you to use in your crust. So let's get this done, and we'll get to assembling our pizza once this is dried out. Okay, so now that I have my cauliflower a little bit more dried out, I am just going to go ahead and pour this onto some paper towels. Now, if you have a tea cloth or something that you could wring this out in, that would be perfectly fine to do as well. But again, we just want to make sure that we get this as dried out as possible. It is going to be hot, so be careful. We're going to get this dried out. See how much moisture that still has in it? So I'm actually going to grab a couple more paper towels. To get any additional moisture out. Really, really making sure that you work with it to get as much moisture out as you can. I'm going to say that that's probably pretty good there. Alright guys, now that we have our cauliflower rice nice and dry, we are just going to take and we're going to add our ingredients. To that, we're going to do a half of a teaspoon of dried basil. We're going to go ahead and do 1/4 of a teaspoon of oregano. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do a full teaspoon of garlic salt. Oops, got a little bit too much there. Okay, we're going to add that in. And then we're going to go ahead and add the recipe. The original recipe calls for a 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese and a 1/3 cup of mozzarella. I do not have like shaved, just plain Parmesan cheese. So I'm going to use 1/3 cup of regular mozzarella cheese. And then I happen to have some of this cheese that I got from Sam's Club, and hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, hold on, let me move that out of the way. It's a shaved blend. It's Asiago, Parmesan, and Romano. And I'm just going to use some of that to put in. It calls for, like I said, a 1/3 cup of the Parmesan cheese. But we're going to add this the best that we can. Now this is like a shaved cheese, so it's going to be a little bit different than a shredded cheese. I might try to break it up a little bit before I add it into mine. Now, you could certainly just go ahead and use all mozzarella cheese if that's all that you have, because I would think that most people would be more apt to have mozzarella cheese versus, you know, the Parmesan cheese. So that is that. Okay, so I have went ahead and mixed up my egg in a bowl. I'm gonna add that to the rest of my ingredients. Now, here's where your hands are gonna have to get a little bit gross, but the best way to combine all of this, and the egg is gonna be what really holds this together for you. So, it's probably not gonna feel exactly like it's binding very well initially, but don't worry about it. It will hold together better than you think that it's going to. So, just get in there with your hands and get that all mixed up. Nice and good till everything is incorporated. And we're gonna go ahead and put this on a baking sheet with parchment paper and bake in the oven at 450 degrees. And I would say for 18, 20-ish minutes, but I will let you know once this gets out of the oven how long it ended up taking. All right, guys, so I have my pan and it is lined with parchment paper, and I'm just gonna take and put my cauliflower rice onto this parchment paper. And then what you're going to want to do is just shape this into the form of a pizza crust. So I wouldn't make it too thin, but at the same time, you want it to be thin enough so that it cooks evenly and I guess at a better cooking temperature, because if it's too thick, I would think that it won't cook properly, especially since cauliflower rice tends to run a bit soggy anyways. You might have to cook this a little bit longer than what the actual recipe says. So yeah, it's not perfection, but it is somewhat in the shape of a circle. And mine looks a little bit different. Like I said, I added the shaved pieces of Parmesan and Romano into mine, so it looks a little bit different. But if you have shaved, it might look a little bit different. So we're gonna go ahead and pop this into a 450 degree oven, and then I'll be back to show you what I top it with. All right, guys, I pulled the cauliflower crust out of the pan. It did end up cooking for, I would say, 22 to 24 minutes. I know the parchment paper looks like it's so burnt, but the crust itself is really good, and you'll be so surprised how well this stays together. You really will. You will be so surprised on how well it stays together. This recipe actually called for flipping it after the 15 minutes was up and just kind of letting it cook for a few more minutes on the other side, so I did go ahead and do that. Here I have about 1/4 of a cup of sauce, and honestly, I think that might even be too much. I do not put a ton of sauce on my pizza because A, not all sauces are as carb friendly as some. I know the Rowell's brand is really carb friendly, and it's also like $8 or $9 a jar. So I have one that has a little bit more carbs in it than I would say the Rowell's, but again, I'm not going over the top heavy with it, so I think it'll be fine. So I got my sauce on here. Here I am putting some mozzarella cheese on. Try not to go too heavy-handed, because I think what I would like to do is take and put a little bit of this shaved Parmesan cheese on as well. Alright, so far I've got the sauce on. I put a little bit of mozzarella cheese on, tiny bit of that Parmesan blend that I had. I am going to put on top some of this baby spinach, this organic baby spinach. Really like putting that on top of my pizza, just to kind of get a little bit more veggies in. But you know what, before I do that, because I don't have any pepperoni, I have some salami, and I did cut that up in little wedges. So I am going to take and put that on my pizza. Okay, and then I also have some mild Italian sausage that I cooked up, and I'm going to put a little bit of that on my pizza as well. Definitely not going to use all of this. But really already, I mean, look how much toppings is on there. It's plenty. And like, I am not going to eat all of this pizza, maybe half of it, and save some for lunch tomorrow. So there we have our Italian sausage, our salami, and we're just going to throw some spinach on here as well. And if you want to, at this time, you know, you want to put a little bit more garlic salt on top, salt and pepper, any sort of seasonings, you are welcome to do that. I'm going to put just a tiny bit more of this shaved cheese on top, just to kind of hopefully get everything all melted down onto the pizza. And again, I know that this pan and everything does this no justice, but that is what the pizza is looking like before I go ahead and put it into the oven. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in. You can put it on broil for several minutes, or you can just pop it in at the 450 that you originally baked the crust on, and just kind of keep an eye on it to see, you know, when it looks like it's ready. So I'll do that, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like when it's done. This is the finished pizza. Guys, this turned out wonderful. It was so yummy. I highly, highly recommend giving it a try. It was so easy. I'll link the recipe below. You can modify it to how you like. Hit like, comment, or subscribe to see future videos. This is first of many to come, and I just have lots more ideas up my sleeve. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe to see future videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.